All right. Lemlmts Pesyaʔ gest Stulu Ukex to talk with Lecht. Lemlmts, thank you everybody for coming to our third Salish online grammar with Tachini Pete. Thank you again, Tachini, and turn it over to you.
Sé lemlamt just lempty tluchod get chwa tluchod lesia. Tlukest good tluchod ka nuwa ulstin. Tlukas ya nunum kasot the wahwi tluad sé tlukasia tluko seven emintum chin lemptly spoos tluchod sé kasua. Hu chin tachod le. So sentence grammar is probably one of the most challenging thing I think in our language is coming up with sentences, and I'm going to show you some. I'm going to show some transitive and intransitive sentence structure. So I'm going to be going over. I'm going to review the root words um, that I went over in the first classes. I'm going to go over suffix compounds, and then I'm going to get into the transitive, the direct transitive form, and go over the particle T and how it's used in transitive and intransitive sentences. So you have to meet me yet. So first of all, I just want to go over again the root words and the core of the root word is the root shell, which is the two consonants of the root word. And in this example here, chtachodle is the whole word to start. And this word is comprised of the root word ta, which means to be at the edge of something. So the suffix ch puts it in the position at above that edge or at that edge, on that edge. For the purpose of being at that edge is what the ch does to it. The suffix means that it's tightly situated together, meaning that you're right at the very edge of the start of something. The L is a transitive, it's a plural transitive, and it means that there is like a plural of things that are about to happen. Um, that the action can be many things, and so that's where the word comes in. And then etched means to do something with your hands, but it also means to do work or to do something. So to start. And just like all the other classes, if you guys have any questions about anything, please ask, because it helps me. And so again, the root shell in here is ta, which is T with the pharyngeal, and so yeah, that's the word start, and that's kind of how it forms together and what it means. So the next word, tichudlam, and I guess in these example words, I guess what I was trying to bring out is the L. Tichudlam is something that's different. And then the root in this one is tich. It has a vowel in there, so it's a full root, so it has a full force of a word. Tich means to be out of the ordinary, or results in an out of ordinary thing. And the reason that L is used in here to tichud the L pluralizes. So it's essentially saying there's many things out of the ordinary, is what it's referencing. So it's like a plural out of the ordinary. So something that's different is kind of a pluralized thing. So tihuadam is made to be different. The next word is hokodks, hokodks. And hokodks is to snore. And it comes from the root word hok, which means to inherently separate, or it separates from itself. And that's essentially what you're doing. Snore, all your loose skin in your throat's flapping around back there, separating. And the L is to pluralize that action. So it's happening plurally, and the x references the I guess your nose. Any questions? This is just to go over the root word, how root words are used in words. And always remember that there is a vowel is required in every word to make it a full word, the full force of a word. And there's only one vowel in every word. And that vowel has specific meaning. Just to go over that briefly, that E means to be body the action. A is like a significant state. The I is a result of the action, or a resultant. And the U is an inherency or intrinsic or a capacity, a potential. So those are all the vowels. So to go over another root word here, the root word means to add to. You put an I in there and it becomes tih, meaning you acquired something. It's after something has happened, you've been added to. Not you, but the word tih, acquired. So it results in adding to, is what it says. So you add the suffix m on there to transfer that action to something else, is what you're doing. Tihum. So she got something. She or he got something. So that's what the m does, is it transfers that tih, adding to the acquired. It then becomes a force to something else. So she got something. It doesn't say what she got, just that she got something that is gettable. And then to add transitivity to it, tihuin, I got it. I got a single object. I don't. That object isn't named, but it's directed at a specific object. Tihuin, I got it, whatever that it is. The difference between the tihuin and tihum is I got an unnamed thing that fits within a set of things that can be gotten, can be acquired, that can be added to. So it's creating like a whole set of things that can be acquired. Tihum. And then tihuin is I got a specific thing, one thing, whatever it is, it's not mentioned. So that's a really important distinction to get between those two suffixes. So moving on to another root word example, khud. Khud is an act or condition referring to reaching the top of, or the end of, or the expiration of something, and it's used in words like fresh or green, as in something is green, like a green tree, fresh, fresh fruit. But it also refers to reaching a pinnacle or an apex, like to get to the top of a hill, or it can refer to like evolution, like in humans, to reach the top of like the food chain or whatever. So cod is could with an A in it, and the A makes it a special edition. So it's something special or significant. Um, and in this sense here, it is it's also stative. So cod is it is fresh, it is green, it is at its top position, its highest point, it's on top. Um, Something like that. It can mean all of those things at the same time. Khed with the E in there, the khed with the E means to embody. The E means to embody the act. So it's to be the act of reaching the top of something or to reach the completion of something, to have fully grown. And that's how it applies to skedli is the human. Khed is it's has reached the top of uh, of animals, I guess. And the ich means it's a changing form. So that's what we are humans. We are at the top. We have reached the top, and we are a changing form, meaning we develop and we grow. Another word that has the khed in there is chked, and this is again, it's at that top position, reaching the top or the completion. So in this sense, it is up above, which can refer to like uphill or upstream, um, but it also could refer to like the top of the building or something like that as well. Any questions?
Yeah, Tachini,
Yeah,
about the X-rays W as a suffix. We were talking about that. Can you talk about that a little bit? Like what does that, at least
sure.
to you, what is that saying when we use that as a suffix?
Yeah, so the suffix, the XW suffix, it means to be a form. So it's referring to the outside dimension of something. So that can be the outside dimension of something can be the physicalness of something, the outside dimensions of somebody, something, an object, but it also can refer to the outsideness of an action too. So an action can be like an object, so it can refer to the outside portion of an action. So it's kind of a
Okay.
difficult concept to like wrap your mind around,
Uh,
but you can actually refer to the outside dimensions of an action, meaning that you're outside of the action looking into it. You're viewing it from the outside.
okay. Lemlmt.
Una. April, you have a question?
Yeah. Hey, Tachini.
Yeah.
So you know how we've been like talking about Salish and how it's like, when it's broken down, like skeleton is flesh, and then lech is like earth, and so people have been translating it like flesh of the earth. And
Hmm.
so so can you talk about that a little bit of like
Yeah.
extra? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just been a confusion between the two different root words that are used. So um, ked is I should have wrote it on here just to show because I know that was going to come up. But ked is a QE with a glottal L, and that means to be encased, to embody encasement, and that's where the word for meat comes from. So they're actually two different words. Skedch is a different root word than skedli. So ked with the glottal L means to encase, to be around, and that's why it's used for meat or flesh or muscle. It's also used for coat, like a jacket. It's a it's a glottal L in there, so it's a real subtle difference. And ked means to be at the top, to reach, to be the act of reaching at the top. Does that help, April?
Yeah, it's just really interesting because like, yeah, I don't know, it's hard. It's like that one's gonna be the one that's gonna be interesting to wrap my head around. And so you're saying that, sorry, I just finished cooking dinner for the kids. So you're saying that like, so this is an entirely different word or root than skeltch.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's so, and so what you're saying then is it means something where it's like, and it's interesting because it's like it kind of talks to hierarchy is what you're saying, where it's like it's at the top and you're kind of like maybe of animals, you know, the top of what?
Yeah, it's the top of the food chain is what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's the same word in sketch to me too. Because men tend to get bigger.
Huh. Okay, keep going. I mean, I could talk about, I could go off on this one, so I don't want to hog it. So yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So that is cud. Cud is to reach the top of something or the peak condition of something, peak use. Um, so all root shells are an act or a condition, and it's not really, you can't say it's one or the other because it could be either one. Once you get a vowel in there, then that's what really brings the word alive.
Tachini, there's another question.
Oh, go ahead,
Josh?
Josh.
Could those root or those roots that we're looking at, like call, kel, could they
Mm-hmm.
also mean something close to like ripe or mature?
Yeah, yeah, same thing. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's all that concept of reaching completion or the top or fully grown. Yeah, yeah. That's a good another word, mature. So another example here, the root quid. Quid is to the root shell means to create, make, or form something. And then we get a qued. Qued means to be the making, be the forming. You're embodying the act of creation, of creating, of making something, of forming something. So from that we get the word qued. Qued means to be upturned, like you turned over a pot or a cup or a bowl or a car, or it can describe a sweat lodge the way it sits on the ground. Qued, but it's a container-like object that's been upturned, meaning the open portion is facing down. Could is to, I think it's one of the most familiar words, to work, make, or do. From that, you can form words. In codex is to make a road or a trail or a path, to make your way. We get quedlintutin from quid or quid, which is to create or make, and quedlintutin means that which makes something. The tun means it's for the use of or for the doing of, and sut means an act to the self. So quid is to make the self, that which makes the self. That's what it says. The creator. So quedlinsutin, everything has a quedlinsutin. Everything that's made. Um, like if I make a drum, I'm the drum's quedlinsutin. I'm its creator. Any questions? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Um, so that word Sutin, do you happen to know if we use that word if we prayed to Sutin before contact, before colonization, or if we use some older forms? of like a motkin or
Yeah,
such?
yeah. I think the word is used. Um, there's a lot of different words for creator, um, and it's all a matter of perspective and how you want to portray that which is to you. And so Koten Sutta is just one way of expressing that. It's just saying the maker of one, because there's other words like amotken, and that just simply means sits ahead in time. Like the creator is forward in time. Um, and then there's like Chiepedlet, meet and Sutin. There's several words that you can use to describe creator or God. So it's just a matter of perspective in how you want to describe that. So it's not like it's not like there's a correct way or there was an old way. It's just there are ways to describe it differently.
Lemlmts.
Una. So the suffix "am" I think is the most used suffix in the language, and what it does is it allows for words that would be normally like conditions or states of being, or ambivalent or no monovalent verbs. It allows those actions to be transferred to something else. So you add an M to the root word or to the stem word, and what you're doing is you're saying whatever the act is, it's going to do to something. So it's kind of like a generalization, and it's setting up like a set of things that can be made. In the first example, kutlam, she made something or did to something. So it's a generalization. So you're setting up a set of things that can be kud, and you're adding M, and that's what you're doing to those things. You're not saying what those things are or what they could be. It's just a generalization. Atcham, look at something, to look at something, and what it is that you're looking at is the set of all things that can be looked at. So it's a generalization to that specific thing. Wicham, found something, saw something. So again, it's the root word which doesn't transfer an action to something else. It just is. So you need the M in there to make that action to be to something. Wicham, I found something. Doesn't say what you found, but it is an action to something, and it's to a set of things that can be found. Tequam, I made it come on, the light, brightened it up. Again, tech just means it's the brightening up of something, like the opening up of a light. In order to do to that, you have to add the M on there to make it a force to that thing. So tequam, she lit it up, turned it on, the light. Tequam. So again, the M is going to create a generalization, and you're going to see why I'm saying that so much. So just remember that M does to something and a generalized things. So, all right, moving on to some sentence structure here. So I'm going to go over the intransitive sentence and the transitive sentence, and this is the basic structure of these two sentences. And so sentences and should be thought of as clauses. So the sentence itself is its own contained clause. It's a sentence clause. and a sentence clause contains the verb, and that's the only thing that is required to be a complete sentence. If you're doing an intransitive sentence to something, then you are required to have an object in there. And then if in a transitive sentence, if you are doing something, you're doing something to something else in a transitive sentence. The subject is, it's not the required clause in there to be in there, but it is the clause that goes with the verb. Same with the intransitive. The object goes with the verb. So there are, so the verb is also called a predicate clause or a verb clause. And that's the main, that's the core of the sentence, is the verb. And then if you want to indicate what the object, what the verb is acting on in the intransitive sentence, then you have to use the determiner particle, which is the T, and then you name the object, and then that becomes the object clause, is the clause particle, which is the su, tsi, or yeah. Those are the three clause particles. And they will start the object clause or the subject clause. So the subject clause, again, is also, it's a clause, and it's going to be started with one of the clause particles. Now these clause particles have specific meaning to them, and they're used for specific things. So su is the most common one, probably the most common word in Salish. But su is like a general reference to something known or referred to. So it's established information. Su is used for established information, whether that's stuff that's, you know, commonly known, something that's established previously. If you're telling a story, you're going to use su. And then tsi is used to distinguish things. So you're calling out a specific thing amongst other things. Yeah is referring to a specific thing right here, right now. And then there's also the option to not have a clause particle, which is just a blank. And that is the most generic reference. So if I was to say, it's the difference between, well, let me just move on because I have some examples here. So the main clauses in a sentence are going to be the predicate clause or the verb clause, which is the only one that's required. And then there's going to be an object clause and a subject clause. Those are the main clauses of a sentence, whether it's intransitive or transitive. And the way they're structured is a little bit different from each other. And I'll go into more detail on that. Any questions on this so far? Okay. So let me just briefly go over the clause particles. So like I was saying, there's su, tsi, and yeah. And the difference between those, so there's really like four clause particles. There's the blank one, the no particle. So in this sentence here, Tachini Pete, the boy washed a knife. So this is intransitive. The boy to eat is the one that's doing the action of washing, and Tachini is washing the knife. So to set this up with using each of these clause particles, so the first one here is going to be the blank one without a clause particle. So Tachini, he washed a knife. So again, when you don't have a clause particle, it's going to be the most generic reference. So the difference between a knife, which is the blank, ʷusm and ʷusm is the difference between a knife and the knife. So when you use llw, it's usually referring to something that's established either as a common thing among a community, or something that's established in a story or information or something like that. So ʷusm he washed the knife, as opposed to ʷusm he washed a knife. So the next one is ʷusm he washed that knife. So there's many knives there, and he washed a specific one amongst those others. And then ʷusm he washed this knife here. So I'm referring to a specific knife. He washed this one. ʷusm. So that's the difference between the clause particles. And a clause particle is going to be at the head of every clause, whether there's a clause particle there or not. The position is always there. Any questions?
Are you going to talk about that M? Because that, like, and this is an example also, like this is clause particles, but then also that M is like, and that you're showing us that action thing, like that M does something in a generalized way.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that.
Okay,
Yep.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, go. Okay,
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, the M in this example, so the M is going to be, the M is intransitive. And so in this example here, these are all intransitive sentences. So any other questions? Stu, and yeah.
So in the intransitive ones, when we have the M's, it's at least the way we've been talking about it, it gives us that hint of that something.
Yeah.
So it's the hint that it's like it's winking at transitivity, but not full on like affecting that object.
Right.
yet.
Yeah. So the intransitive words, there's two different kinds. There's a bivalent intransitive, which is what this one is, and there's a monovalent, which is huist, he walked. So you can't walk something huist with the word, and it was huist. It's a stative word, huist. So it is monovalent, meaning that somebody is doing it. So if you want to say he's doing it, he's making somebody walk, and then you add the M on there to make it bivalent, meaning you're doing it to something else. So huistum, he made him walk. Huist, he walked. So the huist is monovalent, meaning there's just the experiencer. And then huistum, that's bivalent. He made somebody walk. So they're both intransitive. One is bivalent, one is monovalent. I know I'm adding some new things on there, but I don't know how else to describe it.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned having no predicate clause would make it the most generic version of it. Does that go for transitive and intransitive?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm talking about the clause particles here. So when there isn't a clause particle, meaning there's no ļutsi or yeah, that means it's the most generic reference. So in this example here is ʷusm. There's no clause particle there. The position is still there, but it means it's generic reference, meaning it's not. ļu is a little bit more specific. C is a comparison, and yeah is very specific. So ļu is referring to something that was either established or just general information. Um, and then without the fu there, it's just generic. Does that help?
Yeah, lemlmts.
Yeah, and then that works with, so the clauses are throughout all sentence forms, whether that's intransitive, transitive, or ditransitive. Um, and the clause particle has the same meaning or form in every instance, no matter where it's at.
You have another question, Tachini?
Oh, okay.
Um,
Your hand's
so
always raised.
sorry, man. Can you go back one slide?
Yeah.
So would the difference between the first one and the third one be like the speaker wants to point out like, hey, that boy I talked about earlier
Mm-hmm.
washing that knife. And then the third one is like, hey, it's that knife. Remember, he's washing that knife that I talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Is is
Yeah.
that is that what that's doing?
Yeah. So the first example, I used flew in there, flew to eat. So this boy has already been established in the storyline or whatever the telling of the story. To eat. So the boy, because I could have left the flu off of there and just said a boy washed a knife. So there's no reference, there's no specific. It's just a generic boy washing a generic knife. But as soon as
Right.
I add flu on there, then I'm referencing a specific boy.
Yeah, and I'm noticing that it sort of adds some focus. Like I'm adding
Mhm.
some emphasis on the boy that I talked about or on the knife that I talked about in the third one.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Lemlms.
So you could say like to tweet, sawam llutallini would be
Mm-hmm.
a boy washed a knife.
Yeah, yeah. I'm getting you're jumping ahead there, Robert.
Homie.
Exactly right. All right, so here's some more examples, sentences, intransitive. These are all intransitive, and they all have the M on the word, which makes it a bivalent word, meaning it's happening to something. So, ishnam patak tuit. Somebody ate a potato, or the boy ate a potato. The boy ate a potato. Tichwam tcheka susheshutim. The girl ate, or the girl got some candy. Chin kotlam tpumin. I made a drum. I could add sukoye on there to add more emphasis to myself if I wanted to. That's why I have it in gray there, just to show you that. Um, so most of the sentence structure diagrams are all going to be on the third person, because the third person can take all those clauses, where first person, chin, the subject is going to be indicated in the word itself. So chin is a prefix. So chin kotlam, I made something. I did something. What did I do? Tpu mean. I did I made a drum. And if I wanted to add emphasis to myself, to just further show myself out in this work, I could say "tukoye" on there. And I could add even more emphasis to this. I can add it to the beginning, to what's called a fronting clause. Um, "Tukoye uchin kudlam tupumin." It is I that made this drum, that made a drum.
And so if you put a flu, C or yeah in front of the T, then that's even more emphasis.
Yeah, yeah. So I could change the first one here. Ishnam tpatak
Tukwaitlu.
si.
Come on.
Ishnam tpatak lu, or si twit. that boy among the other boys ate a potato. Or I could say, Lemlmts Pesyaʔ, to eat, meaning this boy that I'm referencing right here, either in front of me, on a TV, on a picture, whatever. Yeah, this boy here ate a potato.
But also in front of the T itself.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. So if you look at the diagram there, so the verb and then the before the T is a clause position, clause particle position, which can be blank, which in all of these instances here that I have these examples, it's all blank. I didn't put a clause particle in there. So in these examples here, every object is a generic reference. So Lemlmts Pesyaʔ, she ate a potato, any old potato. Tichum Ka, she got any old some candy. Lemlmts Pesyaʔ, I made a drum, some drum. Lemlmts Pesyaʔ, the boy fed the fish. So yeah, so tichum, yeah, ka. So I'm referencing a specific piece of candy. She got this one right here. Chinkotlam, min. I made the drum. So I'm referencing a drum that maybe I've already talked about or was mentioned before. Or chinkotlam yet pumin. I made this drum that's right here. I'm holding it. I'm pointing at it. I'm indicating it somehow. So the diagram here shows you where the verb goes, where the object goes, and where the subject goes, and how the clause particles fit in there. So you can use any one of those clause particles depending on how you want to portray your information. Any other questions? Okay, so I was talking about, so these ones here are bivalent, meaning there's two, they're called arguments, which is the object and the subject. That's why it's called bivalent, because this verb can support or needs two arguments for its structure. Ichnam, patak, to eat. So that's the object and the subject. So in a monovalent sentence, there's only a subject. It can't take an object because it's monovalent. So tak to patak. Tak can't do something to something. It's a state of being. It's a condition. Gest to astkud. So again, you can't gest to something. So I can't. It's monovalent. It can only take a subject. Gest to astkud. Your work is good. Chin lempt. I can't lempt to something because it's a state of verb. It's monovalent. Chin lempt. I am glad. I'm happy. And tishk yesewetk. This water is sweet. Tishk is stative. It is sweet, is what it says. It is sweet liquid. And this water right here is the one I'm referring to. I kleintlus and chlemuten. The chair is green. So these are all monovalent verbs. They're all stative, and therefore they can only take a subject. So again, in these cases too, the clause particle can be used, before the subject clause subject. So you can use any one of those tlutsi or yet, or leave it blank to be generic. Gestas code. Any questions? So there's a bivalent, and I just noticed I spelled that wrong. Bivalent. Who's that? Bivalent. So again, bivalent needs doesn't need, but can take an object and a subject in there, doing something to something. That's why a transitive is also bivalent, because it's doing something to something. And the monovalent is just a stative word that's that can only take a subject. So object fronting clause, this is where you're going to add the object before the verb. And this is called a fronting clause. And the reason these are used is to add emphasis to the object over the verb. So in these cases, the emphasis is on the object through the verb's action. So these are all intransitive. So the object in an intransitive has to take the T. So the man is wanting a car. So I could have added on there the man wants the car. Or I could say the man wants that car among all these other cars. Or I could say the man wants this car, this specific car, the one I'm referencing. And the same with the other sentences here. The cat is eating the grass. Or the cat is eating grass. Next one is this is a oh, okay. Tit pus lemlmts Pesyaʔ. The girl is feeding that cat, a specific cat amongst other cats. Tit pus lemlmts Pesyaʔ. The girl fed that cat. And then just to show you an example of an adjective fronting clause, and this is going to be refining the verb. So in this one, so the boy ate candy quickly or fast. He ate it really fast. So in this instance here, the reason why I'm showing you this example is because this sentence this is an intransitive sentence. It has a subject, or it has an object in there already. He ate the candy. He ate candy. So also has a T on there, which is how they're called adverb or adjective clauses. They are changing the way the verb is, so it's enhancing the verb or refining the verb. So cannot be an object, so therefore it can't be a fronting clause, an object fronting clause, and so therefore it is an adjective clause, fronting clause, that's fronting information about the way the eating is happening. So I just wanted to throw that in there so that if you run across anything like that, you know that there is this object clause and there's an adjective clause. Any questions? So now we're really going to blow this up. So what we're looking at here is an intransitive sentence that has modifying clauses on the verb, the object, and the subject. So what a modifying clause is something that refines its main clause, whether that's the predicate clause, object clause, or subject clause. It is modifying that information. And the modifying clause can be a verb, an adjective, or an adverb. And it can extend what the verb is doing. It can change the way the verb does something. So it's added information. And you can have multiple modifying clauses that attach. And a modifying clause can be modified by a modifying clause. So it can get really nested and deep within a sentence if you wanted to. So the examples I have here, these are all intransitive. So, īt ūs she is pointing angrily. So talk is a monovalent verb. Talk, pointing, doing. And then the way it's done is stated in an adjective clause or adverbial clause. Īt. So the next one, next example, īt ūs she or he is talking stubbornly. So esquetquetli is a monovalent construction, and it's being modified by an adverbial clause, īt. So that's the way she or he is talking. And next one, īt ūs the boy is walking slow. Again, huist is a monovalent verb. So you can't have an object in there. So therefore, īt shept. And shept cannot be an object anyways. But that's how you recognize if it's an object or an object fronting clause or an adverbial fronting clause, if you know the word. Any questions? At the end here, I'm going to show you a sentence that has modifying clauses in it. So the object fronting clause is what I just showed. Now we can also have a subject fronting clause. And this is done to add emphasis to the subject of the verb. And again, this can be a fronting subject clause doesn't have the T in it because it's intransitive. So the subject just has a clause particle, tsi or ye, or none at all. So here's a series of example sentences. They're all the same. Just the subject is changing. So some so the woman is wanting the car, but in this sense, you're emphasizing the woman. So it is the woman that's wanting the car. So you can add the pronoun words to add emphasis in the first and second person. So instead of just saying you want to add emphasis to yourself. It is I that's wanting the car. Next one, it is you that's wanting the car. And the next one here, it is the women wanting the car. It is us that's wanting the car. Llwyn pedle upesentetsi llwt. It is you all wanting the car. So the fronting clauses are adding emphasis to whatever you're fronting, whether that's the object or the subject. And the clause particle can change to however you want to emphasize that. Thu, tsi, or yeah. Thu for established information. Tsi for distinguishing among a group of things. Yeah for a reference to a specific thing right here in front of you at hand. Okay, any questions on that before I move on? Fronting
Yeah.
clauses? Yeah.
I was curious. I know that we're doing like clue and see and yeah, and tub, but in regards to us, like if you yeah, so I've seen it kind of uses like those.
Oh yeah, ush is
So
as a prefix, and it means like those, or you can think of it also as the gang of, or the group of.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So and then also too when we are reduplicating something to make it plural, so like
Mm-hmm.
when we add the us,
Ush. Yeah.
it us or just us,
Mm-hmm.
us, we just leave it as sqaltu. We don't have to do
Right.
sqaltu. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Unless there was groups of men, like different groups. Yeah. Yeah. Ush is like for me the easiest way to remember is like the gang of is what I always thought of it as. So there's like stories. Well, to rather than like name a whole bunch of individuals or characters in a story, they'll just say "Uch Sinchadle." Those the gang of meaning his either his family or the people that are with him currently, the animals that are with him currently. Uch as a prefix. Okay, fronting clauses. I'm moving on from fronting clauses unless there's any more questions. Okay, suffix compounds. So all suffixes are compounds of smaller suffixes, and the example I'm showing here is min, the instrumental, and this is comprised of the m suffix and the n suffix. And so what it's doing is so the is let me just take the first example here. The huepamin is a carpet. So huep means to make it spread out. And then the ch on the word means on the surface of. And then you add the n to there, which makes it min. So the m makes it general. Make it spread out. Made it spread out is what that word says. So you're acting on something that can be spread out, whether that's a blanket, a carpet, a rug, something that can be spread out. Huepum, she or he made it spread out. Spread that thing out. And then you add the n on there, which makes it an instrument. And then you could say huepamin, the thing that is used to spread out. So that's a carpet. So the M generalizes the act. So it's the set of things that can be done by this act. And then the N refines it down to a specific thing. So that's where you get the instrumental, is due to the act generalized, whatever the act can do, and then the N makes it specific to a single thing. And that's where you get the instrumental, instrumentive. The next example, ʷusm, something that is used to to handle with ease. And then ʷusm, do good work to something or somebody, or handle something with ease. So all of the suffixes are like this. All the suffixes that you know are compounds. And they're all made up of smaller suffixes. So I'm going to show you a list of these single letter suffixes. That means demarcative, which means it's establishing like a line or an edge or a boundary at something. So that's where we get the word, the suffix sin is, it's at an edge or a boundary, and it's acting the transitive, transitivizer in sin. So that's where we get things to do with the mouth, because your mouth is at a boundary and an edge from the inside to the outside. Sound is produced at the mouth. Again, that's the edge or the boundary of the inside and the outside. Then you get son and sin, which has the vowel in there. Shin is the ankle. Again, it's a boundary, a transition point. The tzenecht is your wrist. Again, it's a transition point, an edge, a boundary. Tzenet is at the edge of the water. Again, it's a boundary or an edge. So tsin is not mouth or sound, but it's an act at the edge, which is used for mouth and sound and many other things. So the next one is, and this is the hard C, and it means entire or uninterrupted. And this one is in the form the tse, ate, or ite. And again, this is like covered in, or refers to blanket, something of that nature. Next one is ch, and this is found in a lot of suffixes. And this one means to be completely or fully. So it's found in the back, chin, which is the outside of or the back of, or the reverse side. Chinech is outside of a dwelling. Chinecht is your palm of your hand. Cheat is people or tribe. Achin, Ichin, Ichinkun, Ichinshin. They all have the ch in there. All the words that have to do with the hand, the ch, the etched, the ch, the ached and etched, they all have that ch in there, which means to be completely or fully. The L, which is a very prevalent suffix as well. L is in lots of different suffixes. I'm not going to read them all here. This is just to give you an idea of how prevalent these suffixes are and how they build up and form other things. And they can refer to a lot of different things. So all of these L's and every one of these suffixes here is the same L, and it means the same thing in each one. So the L is a very long list. So there's like 3 of these pages, I think. Maybe there's 4. Lots of suffixes with the L in it. And the M is also made up in a lot of different suffixes as well. And I see I don't have them all listed here, but I have some of them. Methshin, your forehead. Mutum is like something that can be done. Mh is like a life form or force. Mich, emch, amin, emin, umin, min. I don't have that listed. Medlich. So the N is also within a lot of different suffixes as well. And I list a few here. The N, which is most associated with the ear. Anch or ench is like a wall or the belly. The Q suffix means to the extent of, or forth, or for. And this could be either a position up, like the top, or a position ahead, like ahead in time, or ahead of something. So from this suffix, we get the suffixes like kun, which is top or for, kaned, ammunition, kanesh is a projectile, kanet, which is top of a dwelling, and so forth. All of these other words, ox, ks, these all have to do with something that's for of something. Your head, the top is at the fore of your body. Ks, your nose is at the fore of your face. So I didn't go through all of them, but these are the other suffixes here that that I didn't list all of their suffixes. But there's the n, which is the reverse or backside. The p, which is the base or to begin. The k, which I just went over. The s, which is the intentional designed act, which is the causative transitive. The sh, which is the directive or the benefactive. It's also the intransitive imperative. The t is a stative. The w is like a loosely bound group, a grouping. The u is the central or between two things. The h is a two-state interaction. The h was the outside dimension, the form. And the e is the transforming or continuative. So I wanted you guys to see all of those. I think there's like 24 of these suffixes that make up all of the suffixes. And they all have a specific meaning to them. Any questions on the compound suffixes?
How were you able to come to the conclusion that this is kind of what these are implying? Was it through multiple conversations with speakers, or are you seeing like patterns within words?
Yeah, so part of it is, so the way I was described, the way that I learn the language, and when I find out something, it just like emerges out, like those 3D pictures that you look at, you have to stare at them for a long time, and then all of a sudden the image pops out. That's kind of the way it has been for me for learning language. It's like I can look at something for a long time, and I have the English translation of what it is. But there's at like some point in my learning where all of a sudden, like the realness of it pops out. Like, oh, that's what it means. I get it. But yeah, it's just seeing, hundreds and hundreds of examples, having conversations with elders. But for the most part, these ones here, I figured them all out over time. I mean, when I first came up with a working like translation of what they meant, I didn't have it very dialed in. And then as I got more and more examples, and as I learned more and more about things that are related, they all feed into each other, and then all of a sudden the meaning of it just like seems to emerge right out of it. And so that's kind of how I've gone about figuring out these things. Does that help?
No.
So I'm talking about compound suffixes because the transitive is a compound, and the direct transitive t is the direct transitive, and so transitivizer is not fully transitive until it takes on a stative suffix with it. So the most common form of that is the T, the NT, which makes it transitive to do to. It just doesn't have the subject suffix added on there. So the transitivizer N suffix is not transitive until it has a stative form to it. And so when you're in the so you're in the past tense, that's pretty easy. Atchandes. So some M. The woman looked at the house. So that's a past tense form. So when you're in the present tense, you use the possessive forms. And as soon as you go into a possessive, that makes the word transitive, and that's why the M suffix becomes transitive, because you're using the possessive, which changes the whole word to transitive form, and therefore the M can be transitive because it's taken on a stative form, making the M transitive to whatever it's acting on. Does that make sense? No questions on that? Anybody there still?
And so then the T switches it's kind of the opposite of intransitive.
Yeah. I think I show that next here. So the in the intransitive form, the T goes on the object, and so in the transitive form, in all transitive forms, the T goes on the subject of the verb, and the subject of the verb is part of the main clause, where in the intransitive, the object is a part of the main clause. So in here, so I'm going to read through these examples. A man pounded on the rock or rocks. So I can change the clause particle to be more specific or different. So I can say tetentes yes shench the man pounded on this rock. So the next example, spintes yes Lemlmts Pesyaʔ. A girl hit this chair. Chwindes qet ļutsam em. A woman put a hole in this hide. Or a woman put a hole in a hide. Spintes ļutshets ļutsqatdemich. The man hunted the bull elk. Chkotlis yes sinilchewis tzitsam em. That woman, among other women, beaded this belt. The belt I'm referring to. So you'll notice the T goes on the subject in all transitive forms. In this case here, these are all transitive.
So when there's no marker on the pet, then would we just translate that as a hide?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
A generic hide.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have a bunch of examples here of the different subject markers. So I've been mainly just sharing the third person And so el chentes is she did it. She constrained somebody, tied him up. El chenten, I constrained somebody. El chentej, you did it. El chentes, they did it. Que el chentem, we did it. El chentep, you all did it. So I'm just showing you where the subjects markers are in the transitive form, the direct transitive. So to pluralize it, el chentes, she tied them up, them. So I'm showing you where the object is at within the word. And that's the green is the third person object. El chenten, I constrain them. El chentej, you constrain them. El chentees, que el chentem, el chenteep. So this is just to show you where the object is placed within the transitive word form. Now I want to talk a little bit more about the adjective or adverbial clause and when they are not fronted information. So in this case, these are going to fall after the word that they are refining. So in the first example, tzoklam tzit shench it kutunt. So in here, somebody is pointing out a rock or rocks, and the rock is modified with the adjective ikutunt. So either the rock is really big, kutunt, or there are many rocks, kutunt, many big rocks. So in this instance here, the adjective clause is modifying the subject. I mean the object.
Could you put a slew in
And
there?
so you'll notice there. Yeah, you could put "thu" in there.
Where would it go and how would that change the sentence? Before the I or?
Before the I, yeah. "Thu," so you're just going to add either generic referencing established information, comparing, or indicating. So when there's no clause in there, so every clause has a clause position. And these are adjective or adverbial clauses, so they have a clause position. So the "thu" goes before the I. So "thu I kutunt." So tzoklam tzit shench "thu I kutunt." So so if I put "thu" in there, I'm establishing that it's already known they're big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next
I've
one,
got a question.
ŵusm. Oh yeah, go ahead.
So, is it more natural to put the adverb or the adjective after the object? And if we put the kutunt before the shench, then are we kind of imposing the English way of saying it into the
Yeah.
sentence? Is it better to put the adjective after?
Yeah, it almost always goes after. Yeah. You could do it, but it's more, I guess, anglicized.
What if you put it at the very beginning, would it emphasize it more?
Yeah, it would emphasize. It would be more emphasis on it. Yeah. And I'm just trying to think, can this one be fronted information? Yeah, I guess it could be. Yeah. Yeah, you're just emphasizing the you're putting emphasis. So whatever comes first is what is the emphasis.
What's the difference between, let's say, Shench, and sometimes you'll hear Kutis or Kutis before.
Oh yeah.
What is that difference between that when you join them or mesh them with the noun or person, whoever, and then this?
So Kutis Shench is a big rock. So you're all you're doing is instead of using an adjective, you are essentially just describing it in one word instead of an adjective. So Tk'omtsi Kutis Shench. I pointed that big rock, or she pointed out that big rock. And
So
the
the
other one,
meaning is still the same, though.
still the same, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So in one, you've made the rock big, and the other one, you're using it to pluralize. So the other one is pluralizing. Kutunt is pluralizing. So it's either going to be the rocks, big rocks. There's more than one, or meaning that the one rock is really, really big.
So, okay. With the Shench, instead of having to pluralize or like reduplicate the rock, the word for rock itself, Shench, like I don't know if that'd be Shench or
Change.
Shench. Yeah. You can reduplicate it to give that information through the adjective.
Yeah. Mhm.
Mm.
So the next sentence is es huisti tuit it shept. So the boy is walking slowly.
Your English,
So
says-
that
your
also,
English says something different.
oh, the slow boy. Oh yeah, the slow boy is walking. That's right. You could put it on the front. It shept es huisti. The the boy is walking slowly. That's the way I was reading it. Yeah, the slow boy. The boy is slow. His walking is normal though. If I wanted to put it onto the walking, then I would front it. It shept es huisti. Walking slowly. Where in this instance here, the boy is slow. Slow moving, slow at what he does. Not necessarily the walking though. Next one, S in Pquet, S in Pquet it quadli. So this one here is is something is put in the water, something yellow is put in the water. So it's not naming the object put in the water, it's just naming the color of it. So it's putting yellow things in the water, pouring them in the water. Next sentence, Komi quedlam tsisius to yo yot. I hope you have a song that's smart and strong. So the tsisius and to yo yot is modifying quedlam. So these are, this is just a diagram for the three different sentence types, the basic I didn't go over ditransitive, and I don't think I'll have time to do that next week either, but I will try to bring in a little bit. So this is the sentence diagram of the intransitive, transitive, and ditransitive. You can see where the T is located in each one of these, and that's called the determiner particle. And in intransitive, it's always on the object. In transitive, it's always on the subject. In ditransitive, it's on the subject and the indirect object. And then those clause particles are always at the beginning of the secondary clauses. So by secondary clause, I mean anything other than the verb or the predicate clause. So there you go. That's the lesson for today. Just wanted to show this. This is one sentence here. And I believe this is Mitch Small Salmon. I think he's talking here. So he says, X mayem llutil tskasi llutit yusameas llutilin ipachot ist sewne llusamimis lluchot skadlich usits llutkoya esmisten llutskasi lluchis quitmet llu X meye lliechwel en chwel chweltis lluskadlich yechwel en yopieotis lluskadlich. So this is one sentence made up of two connected clauses, main clauses or predicate clauses. And so the main verb in here is X meye. I am going to teach you or tell you about. And so what is he going to tell us about? He's going to tell us about long ago. What about long ago? About the stories yet told. From my elders. And then he gets to the object finally. Ist seonet, my that I've heard. That's the main object. So the X mayem llutil tskasi is modifying. Llutiu sameas is modifying. Llutil ipchot is modifying. Ist seonet, what I've heard. Smeetmis is a modifier of Ist seonet. Lluchot skadich is a modifier of smeetmis. And then it moves to the second joined main clause. Usits lutkoye. And now it is me. Esmi sten, that knows. So esmi sten is the main verb of the next adjoined sentence clause. Esmi sten lutskasi, I know about long ago. Luchis quitmet, when I was a child. Luixmeye, what I'm about to tell. Kliye, this for this for the life of the people. And this for the strength of the people. That's what he's going to tell about. So that's one sentence that has many modifiers. So I just wanted to show that to you as an example of how thoughts are constructed and portrayed and expressed. And that is the end.
Lemlmts Tachini.
Oh, yeah. Geez, I almost went the whole 2 hours this time.
Appreciate you.
Lemlmts Tachini.
Yeah.
Yep, and ʷusm.
Yeah, shit. All right. Anybody have any questions? Want to know any words?
Tachini,
Yeah.
for me, I still, when you're in, especially in that transitive, when you're doing transitive,
Mm-hmm.
when to know when to keep the vowel in the root or move the vowel to a different spot.
To the suffix.
Yeah, to the suffix.
Yeah.
Is I think we talked about that, but is you haven't seen a pattern? It's just something you got to figure it out, or feel.
It's the yeah, I'm starting to figure it out. It's the root word, the root shell is what's really um informing that where it needs to go. And I haven't figured out a pattern yet of how like to recognize when, a learner especially, when to recognize when one is used over the other.
Because we teach pretty hard, that how to use the T, the flu and t in transitive and intransitive. But then you
Mm-hmm.
get that point where you're like, well, what that next thing you're like, okay, I've kind of got that figured out, but now some of these roots are confusing me, it's kind of,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of at the same time, but you start seeing these other little holes where you, as a learner trying to be a speaker,
Yeah.
how you manipulate those different things. And that for me is one of the things that has been not able to figure out myself, except just from slowly starting to learn them, the common ones, but you hit a new
Mm-hmm.
one and you're like not sure how to use it correctly.
Right. One easy way to tell, if you have a list of if you have the word and you have other forms of the word, if the other forms of the word are using a vowel in the suffix, then you know that that root is also going to use the vowel in the suffix of the transitive form. That's one way that I've been able to tell without, anything else other than knowing the word itself.
How many uh, roots do you have?
There's about 482.
So just kind of trying to learn all of them would be a little tough, but I mean, you potentially could maybe
Mm-hmm.
figure out what the top 50 are and teach. Does that have to do with strong and weak root? Is that what's going
Yeah, it is that strong and weak root thing. Although I don't think that that's a thing, the strong and weak root. It's more about where does the vowel want to be?
on?
Does it want to be in the root or does it want to be in the suffix? And when it's in this when it's in the suffix, it's emphasizing the suffix, what the suffix does. And if it's in the root, it's emphasizing what the root does.
Hmm.
But to know which one it's going to be in that's still kind of a mystery to me too.
Is there some that can do both?
Um, I don't
Yes.
know yet. I haven't really found. I've been looking to see if there's one that'd be a really good example, but yeah, I haven't found really good examples to really accentuate why it is one way or the other or both.
But it can be both.
I think so, yeah. Robert, you have some examples?
I can't
I mean,
right
you don't
off the
have to
top of my
think
head.
about this.
I can't think of
Yeah.
any, but we do have some. We have a running list of some where the vowel stays inside the root shell, and then there's examples where it goes outside the root shell. And to me, just from like what you've been talking about, to me it seems like there's a directionality change.
Mm-hmm.
So like a strong root, but like you were saying, it affects the root shell itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's outside of it, it's kind of changing the direction of where that is happening. So
Yeah.
to me, it seems like it's a directionality thing. Like what one is happening in one spot and then the other one, because a lot of the vowels, at least when we go to like the weak root form, it tends to be an E. So like it's the embodiment of that, and then it's usually has a stative in there, so it's embodying that state. So it's the direction is slightly different than if that vowel had stayed inside the root shell.
Yeah.
So like maybe cool or cool,
Could, yeah. I
because
was,
couldn't suit, and it moves to the suffix, right?
yeah, because the Tsutin always takes the vowel. The vowel is always going to be on the reflexive is always going to be here, so the vowel is always going to come out.
If you say cool, what's another word that the vowel stays in
Kutlam.
kudlum? So that's
I'm yeah made. She did something. Okay, here's one that I found. Tukum. So this is an act at something placed. And then tukum is to put something down. This is the only one that I found that's like that's been helpful for me. Tukum is you're doing something to something that's placed down. So it's already tuk, it's down, it's placed, it's pushed, it's put down. Tuk, tukum, you're acting on that's placed. Or the other one, tuk, tukum, you're doing the action of putting it down. Or the other one, you're acting upon that place down already. And the other one is you're putting it down.
Oh, here's one that we were using, quent, which is to take. Like quent, I took it, I caught it. Quentin 10, like I got it out. So it moves the vowel outside of the root shell. I know we had more. I can't remember where I wrote it down, but
Now, when you find them, you should send them over to me so I can take a look.
yeah, we've been trying to compile those because we were wondering why some of them tend to do that, and we have there isn't a lot of examples of some of them. They usually prefer one form or the other.
Yeah.
But we have come across, I think, probably maybe a dozen. I'll ask again tomorrow, and we'll compile that and send it to you.
Okay. I don't know if you can say that. Tuquin. Tuquin. Doesn't to me. Tuquin 10. I put it down. Tukum. She put something down. Tuquam. I did something to that thing that's put down. Yeah, Cheney is still a mystery to me too.
well, just memorize them.
I keep it in front of my memorize it for now. I keep it in front of my mind though, because I'm trying to figure it out as well. I want to know why.
Cool. Lemlmts Tachini.
No. Any other words or anything you want to?
So I had one I wanted to ask you about, Tachini.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've ever seen this. We were talking about like to say like apologize or to take pity upon somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Kalispe, the old Kalispel dictionary, there was one where they used, looks to me like a double instrumentive.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever seen any? So they had in Quentin and Quentin Minsuitamin.
Oh yeah.
I was just wondering if you've ever come across any that were
Oh
kind of a
yeah.
double
I've
instrumentive.
Yep, I've seen those. Yeah.
Yeah. We just hadn't seen it, and it just popped up because we were looking through all of our different dictionaries when we
Mhm.
were, and we were trying to see, and it seems like we're the only ones that, or at least uh, had it in this form where we had chit. For you guys, it'd be quit,
Quick. Yeah.
quit, quitting suit.
Yeah.
Have you ever come across that for you guys?
What is it?
The with so ours would be chit
Oh
with
yeah.
a soft C wedge chit, quitting suit to like apologize. It uses the reflexive.
Oh yeah.
I was just wondering if you've come across that in any of your stuff.
I haven't. Not that word specifically, but it makes sense.
And then the other thing in the reflexive. So I know we were talking about this during Arlie. Do we always leave the N on the in suit? Is that like when like if you said chin
Oh, right here. Yes.
chin chit
Yes.
quitting suit, like if I took pity or I apologized upon myself,
Hmm.
we would always leave that N in there.
Yeah. Yep. It's a part of the. Yeah. It has to be. It's a part of the construction because suit is really um TSUT, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's a contraction of the T and the S,
Yeah.
and so because suit is a reflexive, it's a transitive reflexive, so you're doing it to yourself. So in order to be, remember what I said, in order to be transitive, you have to have the stative. So
Yeah.
if you just write it as in suit, you don't see the stative in there, and so it's not so as clear. So it's
Yeah.
really n and t and then sut is what it really is. That's the underlying structure of it. So the nt is the transitive part. So you're doing it to, and then the s is the causative, meaning that it's intentional. So you're doing it, and
Yeah.
then u is actually what refers back to yourself. Is the inherent state. So that's really the part that's referring to you is the U
It's
part, the
the
U
E.
vowel and the T. That's what refers back to you. And the
Uh,
NT is what makes it transitive, and the S makes it intentional.
mm,
So that's yeah, that's why you need that the N in there because it's a transitive. And same with
uh,
the other one too, the S. This is just a double causative. It's like that. And then same with the other one, the
yes. So
hmm it's the same. And the oh,
suit.
I don't no, that's not one, is it? No. Yeah, so that's the underlying structure. That C is just a contraction of the T and the S. But
Mm,
in order to be transitive, you have to have the stative in there.
yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my questions I was wondering about today too, and we were talking about the Chish Clinton suit. Is just if that N is still doing the same thing in the in suitin as it would be if it was just in a different word. Or
Right.
like say like meast, if you got the meast suffix, is the M still doing the same thing there as it would be in any other word?
It is. Yep. And the way to look at it is the M, you're looking at it um, backwards. So don't look at it at the next letter that happened. Look at the ones before because that's what it applies to. So in the example here, the in Quinnaminsutin, in Quinnaminsuitamin. So if you want to know what the word is saying, you look at this part of the word first, or even just the root shell. But the M on there is what is doing the action too. And it's the same as I've been telling you what the M is. It's doing the same thing within the word itself. Does that make sense?
Una Lemlmts.
And the intransitive reflexive is basically the same thing. It's just an IST, which is almost the same as this right here. But in this form, it's the I is with the S. Make sense? So the big thing I wanted you all to take from this one here is that the suffixes are compounds. They're made up of smaller suffixes. That's probably the biggest thing that I wanted you to take out of this lesson here. Any other questions?
Yeah, I just want to say, Lemlmts Tachini, this is really great and exciting for you to have done all this work for us and being able to explain it in the way that you're doing it. When I saw you at the language conference, I asked you about Lemlmts and breaking that down. And I tried to, like, I don't know even where I put it, but yeah, if you could break that down, because I'm just, I'm still exploring this idea of hierarchy, patriarchy in tribal, in our ways, and Lemlmts, because when we talked about it, it may not reflect a hierarchical role. So yeah, okay, go ahead.
It means to be involved with, to be put into, like Leap for Dixon. It's referencing the one body of water going into the other body of water. It's becoming involved with the other one. Leap. Yid is to become involved with, to become a part of. And then you add the M on there, which makes it bivalent, yidlam, to do to. So it's to involve with, involve at something. So you're doing an involvement action at something. And then you get the ich suffix, and so the means to be the outside dimension of something, so what it looks like, the form of something. So in this case, the I makes it a result. So when someone is selected as a leader, it's a result. So you're looking at the outside of something, and this could be the outside of an object, its form, and that's why you hear it on a landform, like ule means the form of. So it's looking at the outside dimension, and that can also be to the outside of an act as well. So if you think of an act, like when it starts or when it ends, it has an outsideness to it on both ends of the starting and the ending. And so you can talk about that as well using that suffix. So ich means results in a certain form, in some kind of form, and that form is yidlam ich, meaning becoming involved with something, and that's the form that it results in. And then you add the M on there again, which makes that whole word the yidlam mich, which is the involved with resulting form. And then you add the M on there, and then that makes that whole word also to act upon something else. And that's where you get the leader, because they're made to be involved. It's a position that they're put into, not that they put in themselves. That's what the word says. So that's why the M is in there at the end, because that's them being put into that. I think I explained it better this time, April.
Yeah, I think you did too. Yeah,
I've
yeah, that was
explained this word so
great.
many times, I'm getting good at it.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Yeah, that's super. That's really interesting too, because that speaks to, how the colonial way of thinking is, is to put yourself forward, to put yourself out there, and this also speaks to that concept of, we never put ourselves in the limelight type thing. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why we have a word that you make fun of somebody when they do that.
Right.
Lemlmts.
Lemlmts.
Yeah.
You want to break that down, Tachini?
Yeah.
Yeah, fun.
That's when somebody's putting themselves as a leader. Lemlmts. Yeah, that's someone that's being a leader of their own making. Acting like a leader. Inqua means singular, and that's where the one comes from. U means to be central to itself. So it's referencing the thumb in ku. It's in the center of the hand. As said is S means to diverge. It's the root that's also in Salish for winter. It's because people and animals are all going off into their own places. Ed means to be, it's the L, so it's a pluralizer. So esed is a plural, so it's a function of the divergence. Chetle is made up of 3 suffixes. So che means to be like to like all of a sudden be visible, or to show up, or to be placed down onto something, to be made present. So che, the means to pass through like something, pass through something for some purpose. The L again is a pluralizer, and the S means it embodies the function, or it embodies the intention or design of. So 3 is you're passing the middle of your hand, or you could also look at it as 3 because there's 1 in the middle. And then mus is 4, and it's also because your forefingers are the first things that you're touching when you're reaching for something, like in the dark, or you're steadying yourself. So it means the assurance. Tzid means like splayed out. Results in being splayed out is what it says. Just 5, which is all your fingers on one hand. Taken. Tak means to be off to the side. Tak. Taken is just with the N on it, meaning it's done to the one. Taken. Off to the side. He'etnam is the only one I don't know the root of it, what that means. He something. Emin is a tool or instrument. Emin. Chun. Chatnut is 9, and chun is the root, and it means to be almost complete. So this is diminutive, the small little almost completion, the state of ut. And then whoopin, whoop means like hair or grass. Everything is standing up. Whoopin. That's the numbers.
Oh, Lemlmts.
Oh, no. Oops. I had it wrong. It's the opposite. Hey, no, it's not an instrument.
You think you could like maybe next to each of those write out kind of what your definition of it was?
Yeah.
I thought moose had something to do with hassles.
Classics. It does. There you go, Robert.
Lemlm.
Yeah.
I know we talked about it before, and I had it written down somewhere, but kind of got lost by the time I got back home.
Oh
I
yeah.
still kind of remembered some of them, but I couldn't remember the exact breakdown of them.
Yeah.
But we talked about oopin at one time, and you thought it was oo and pun.
Yep.
You don't think that no more?
No. No, it's because of what it's doing is standing up all your fingers.
So you think that
Whoop.
that beginning of that word has just been lost over time?
No, I can still hear it. It's still there. It's just because the W and the U when they're together, they almost sound like one. Oop, oop. And then when it's contracted, or when the vowel is in like openstken, the W sounds like an O when there's a Q in the letter. Because there's a Q in there,
Yeah.
it makes the W sound like an O. So that's why we've written it that way. Because openstken.
It'd almost be like a pharyngeal at that point.
Mhm.
Wolpik,
Oop, yeah.
Wolpenstchen.
Yeah, and I wondered if it was a pharyngeal, but when I listened to those old tapes when I find 10, I can't hear the pharyngeal in
Can't
there.
hear the pharyngeal.
No.
Yeah, and that makes sense where it comes back to the whoop.
Yeah, whoop means standing up.
Yeah, because like when we say whoop scene, right?
Yep,
So it's
super
it's
scene.
it's the hair that's standing up near the edge
Yeah.
of your mouth.
Yeah, even in that word it still sounds like a U, soup scene.